Celebrations over Maduro's capture erupting around the world, including in Florida, where a number of Venezuelans and Cubans reside after fleeing repressive governments. The mayor of Doral says these communities are finally feeling a sense of hope for their home countries. Take a listen.
They're seeing a light at the end of the tunnel after 27 years of oppression and watching their country deteriorate under this regime. And so people were starting to feel the opportunities that exist in being able to watch that country rebuild and finally having the democratic process restored and respected.
Joining me now is Manhattan Institute fellow Danielle DiMartino, who fled the socialist regime of Venezuela and now, of course, lives here in the United States. Danielle, thank you so much for joining us. What does this news regarding Nicolas Maduro mean to you?
For me, it's the hope of a new start. It's the hope that we will get justice. You know, I'm in New York City. You are too. Maduro is about to be arraigned here. Isn't America such a historic place that we can have justice for these evil dictators here in our land? And really the hope is that President Trump has laid out a plan of how to restore freedom back to Venezuela so that America can be more prosperous with more oil exports rather than drug exports.
There are critics of this move by President Trump, even within the Republican Party, including Marjorie Taylor Greene, who posted on X, "We are running Venezuela now," and then sarcastically added, "America first." Do you believe this move by President Trump is in the interest of America first?
Well, of course. It's then every single American pays more at the gas pump because of socialism in Venezuela. Every single American is affected by the drug trafficking epidemic because of the Venezuelan, the Maduro regime. President Trump is also pursuing his duty as president. What does the president do? Law enforcement. He arrested and indicted drug trafficker. That is literally the duty of the executive branch. So it is legal and it is in the interest of the United States.
What is it like to live in Venezuela right now?
Well, right now people are very scared. They're scared because the regime is still in power. This is important to understand. And they have the guns. So people are very happy and everybody supports what President Trump did. But they are scared of demonstrating like we can here abroad because we have freedom of speech here.
And I understand that you have a friend who was arrested by the Maduro regime.
Yes.
Can you tell us why that took place and the circumstances that she's in right now?
Maria Oropesa, she has been in prison for 18 months for the crime of observing election fraud. Her grandma just died a couple of weeks ago, actually. I'm not sure if she knows. She's in a torture center. And really, if Delcy Rodriguez, the thug in charge still in Venezuela, wants to show good faith that she's going to follow what President Trump says and transition out of power, the first thing she needs to do is release the hundreds of political prisoners like Maria so that we know you're actually serious about leaving and President Trump doesn't need to do a second strike.
So what do you foresee happening next when it comes to Venezuela and U.S. involvement?
Well, based on what the President and Secretary of State have said, which I fully support, is they're giving a chance to the remaining of the regime to orderly transition power out, either by holding a new election in the next couple of months or by turning it over to the democratically elected authorities. It is important that it is done orderly so that we have no violence, we have no chaos. But there's also the stick, right? Not just the carrots. The stick is that the president already threatened that the people in power in Venezuela still will suffer even worse consequences than Maduro if they don't comply.
Well, people who know what the outcome of socialism are certainly celebrating this move today, you being among them. Danielle, thank you so much for joining us.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.